welcome to the OMindfulness online guided meditation. Thank you for being here. We're here to support each other in our formal mindfulness practice. Mindfulness is about being in the present moment and being here kindly. It's good for us. It's good for our immunity, our emotions, our clarity of thought. It's good for sleep. It's good for dealing with pain. And it's good for preventing depressive relapse. So it's really worth practicing. And it's not something that we can learn in theory. It's a practice that we have to develop with effort, with commitment, and with kindness. Today, we're going to share a 10-minute mindfulness of the breath meditation and then talk a little bit about mindfulness and crises. So sitting in a dignified posture helps us to stay alert. We have feedback loops in our minds and bodies, and if the body is slumped, the mood can feel the same way, and vice versa. So if we're in a dignified posture, it helps us to be here and to pay attention. Closing our eyes for 10 minutes, mindfulness of the breath. Finding our own way to come into the body. That means just feeling the body, the physical sensations as we're sitting. So we're not trying to calm the mind or create a relaxed state. We're here to notice, and we start by noticing the body. It can be helpful to notice our contact with the chair or cushion, wherever we're sitting. And to notice in detail. Maybe there are some warmer places, some cooler places. Maybe the weight is distributed evenly or unevenly. We may experience some tingling or pressure. Maybe there's not much sensation at all. We observe what is there without thinking it should be different. What we're interested in is our own particular physical sensations or lack of physical sensations, moment by moment. And once we have explored where we're sitting, we might like to pay attention to the feet. Contact with shoes, the sensation of the touch of socks or air. Exploring the different parts. Maybe there's tingling, numbness. Being interested. and observing with kindness. And being in the body helps us to arrive in the moment. We are sensing the body rather than thinking about it. And once we are here, more or less, and we don't have to do anything perfectly, we invite our attention to the breath. Breathing naturally and observing perhaps the rise and fall of the rib cage. Observing perhaps the movement in the abdomen. Observing perhaps the flow of air in the nostrils. Connecting with the physical sensations of breathing. We may feel our skin against our clothes. We may feel a slight stretch on the in-breath, a release on the out-breath. Maybe the air is flowing more readily through one nostril than the other. And we are here to be the witness, to notice what's there, and to allow whatever is there to be there. Following each breath all the way in and all the way out. Just checking if there's any extra holding or tension in the shoulders, the jaw, the eyes, and only using the tension we need to stay sitting and to breathe. And being interested in how the shoulders feel, and the neck, and the eyes. And following the breath. Really accompanying, holding it in awareness. Rather than running after it. with a searchlight, a kind of spacious awareness. Noticing the physical sensations of breath in different parts of the body, and maybe identifying where for you is your clearest connection with the breath. And that could be your anchor point. The place you go to be in the present moment through the breath. And following an inhalation all the way in and an exhalation all the way out. Just a few more moments in mindful awareness, being extra kind and compassionate with ourselves. And when we're ready, opening our eyes. Maybe you'd like a little yawn or a stretch. Oh. So this is all valuable practice, and it is particularly advantageous to practice our mindfulness in a formal way when we have a fairly stable environment, a fairly stable life. It's difficult to take up a mindfulness practice when we are in crisis, and in fact, it's not recommended. Some people have managed to establish a mindfulness practice at very difficult times in their life. It's a bit of a risk that you set yourself up for failure if you can't focus at all. Because of the challenges. It's also harder. It's like lifting heavier weights at the gym. But the idea is that we establish a mindfulness practice and we enjoy the benefits of living a mindful life. We enjoy the positive changes that happen to the brain and the emotions and our emotional stability before we're really challenged. And living in the south of France at the moment, there have been some really intense floods, and one of the class participants had lost everything in her apartment. The whole family is in a hotel, just everything swept away, and they were terrified. The water came in and they didn't know if they were actually safe themselves. So this is a time when, if we have some mindfulness practice, we're in a crisis, we're having a nightmare, but it is a conscious nightmare, and it's a nightmare that we can cope with, and it's a time that we will find some way of continuing to look after ourselves and to eat and sleep and not be 100% caught up in the drama. And it's easy to say, it's not easy to do. That's why laying down this foundation of mindfulness practice when things are trucking along okay is a really good investment for the future, because we're going to lose somebody, we're going to have a difficult time at work or relationships, we're all going to get older, and it helps us to deal with life when things get tough. And there we are, we're prepared when the smaller things happen, when we didn't attach a document that we meant to attach, or we're nervous about a meeting. So I would encourage everybody to really take their practice seriously. I find in class that those people who have health challenges or unemployment or relationship challenges are the ones who really apply themselves to the work. It's harder for them because they're already dealing with struggles. And those people who are there just to improve their quality of life and because they're interested and they believe the science and they know it's good for them, they are less likely to do a really serious formal practice. So let that be encouragement to lay down some foundations while you can. Be prepared for whatever life throws at you. And through my own experience and the experiences of others I've seen around me, I realized that mindfulness is one of the best ways of preparing ourselves just for life. And there's another colleague here, a mindfulness colleague, whose son has a really difficult health challenge, and as a mother, that is the hardest thing to experience. Anyway, she has been meditating carefully for 2 years. She has a bell on her phone that reminds her to be present. And now that things are really difficult, she is coping. It's still very, very tough, and she really is going through all the fear and the upset that any mother would go through. And at the same time, she has the capacity. I've seen her observing what's happening. So she's there living it fully, and yet through this power of observation, she's able to cope and to see her way through, and to think clearly, and to know when she's not thinking clearly, where she needs help. So really hats off to her, and really another great reminder that it's an important and valuable thing to practice our mindfulness while the going's good. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you soon for another shared meditation online. Keep up the formal practice. May you not have a crisis. See you soon.